lots of news to get to. Let's start with that QB change in Cleveland. Go ahead, Adam.
Florida, we have a 41st different quarterback in Cleveland since the franchise returned there in 1999. We have the third different rookie quarterback to start this season, and we couldn't ask or expect a more difficult assignment for Dillon Gabriel, who will have to go to London to make his first NFL start, and he'll have to do it against a talented Vikings defense that Brian Flores oversees. He'll see a variety of looks, blitzes, whatever it may be, but it's going to be a difficult, challenging outing for Dillon Gabriel. The Browns are hoping that Dillon Gabriel can provide the type of spark that Jackson Dart brought last week to the New York Giants, who upset the Los Angeles Chargers and had a bit more juice to their game. Now the Browns will do the same. You'd have to figure that, like the Giants, they will tailor the offense to Dillon Gabriel, run the types of plays that he's comfortable running, that he ran in college. There'll be a different look, a different energy, a different everything to the Browns offense as they go to play the Vikings in London on Sunday morning.
Yeah, not necessarily the defense you would want to go against, but we said that about Jackson Dart too. So new on NFL Live, here's Kevin Stefanski and Dillon Gabriel on the change today.
I think you just have to do everything in your power to get ready for when your number is called. Certainly at the quarterback position, it's different than wide receiver where there's just one guy out there, so there's one rep to go around and you have to do everything in your power. But it's no different than a left tackle making his first start, or a defensive tackle making his first start, or a safety, or what have you. It's it's going to be the first time for Dillon on Sunday, but you try to build off of all your experiences.
It's part of my job, to be ready, to be that, sense of hope for everyone to continue to be better and come together and create momentum for each other. So excited for that, but just also extremely focused at doing my job at a high level.
All right, now Dillon Gabriel played plenty of football in 6 seasons in college, playing at UCF, Oklahoma, and then finishing at Oregon. His 63 starts, 189 touchdowns responsible for, are the most by any quarterback in FBS history. The QB carousel continues to go around in Cleveland. As Adam told you, I just want to say this again. Gabriel will be the Browns' 41st different starting quarterback since Cleveland returned to the NFL in 1999. If you're keeping track, that's 11 more than any other franchise. So glad you're with us today. Dan Orlovsky, Andrew Hawkins, Phil Yates. We got a lot to get to. This is a super busy day.
Yeah, we got a lot.
Well, let's do it then. Dan, does this decision make sense for the Browns right now? As we said, they're facing off against the Vikings defense in London.
I would have started in week 1, but here we are week 4, okay? So only thing left to do, 2 things. Number 1, it's recon for this season, from this moment for the rest of the season if you're the Cleveland Browns. Did you find Andy Dalton, a Derek Carr, a Russell Wilson, Dak Prescott? That's really, outside of trying to win a game, that's the only thing that's left. Is Dillon Gabriel a guy for you? I think the second thing, and just directly to the field, Kevin Stefanski's offense, the fundamental part of it was always play action. It's the second worst play action pass offense in the NFL right now. That has to be the backbone of Gabriel. It's got to come back to be the foundational part of this offense. If he can do that, that's at least a box checked of, okay, can he be the guy for the future? But it's all about, is this dude any good or not?
Yep. It's a dramatic style change, by the way, from Joe Flacco. Joe to Dillon, if you saw the two standing next to each other, it's a gigantic discrepancy in literal size. Joe's 6'6", Dillon Gabriel about my size. He's a lefty versus a right-handed quarterback, but also the way in which Joe plays. Joe was a very methodical quarterback, especially at this stage of his career. What I like most about Dillon Gabriel during his last season of college football, which was at Oregon, his third of 3 stops during his college career, very urgent player. What I mean by that is basically within every play of that Oregon playbook, he had to make a decision. We run him, we passed him, somewhere in between for Dillon Gabriel. He always played with an urgency about him, and also was a good athlete too. This is not Lamar Jackson or a player of that caliber, but he can hurt you with his legs, which obviously Joe, behind an offensive line that has dealt with some injuries and lack of talent, candidly, this past year. 9 sacks taken by Joe in the first 4 games. Maybe not as much pressure for Dillon Gabriel just because of the mobility he brings to the table.
You knew the decision was coming. It probably came a couple of weeks earlier than I expected, but if you watched that offense last week, although the Lions are a good team, it looked very uninspired, right? They're dropping passes. They're not on the same page with Flacco and the wide receivers. And with Dillon Gabriel, everything you said, Phil, is exactly right. And a lot of that is instinctual. Like, he sees it and he gets the ball out. Yes, he's undersized. size, but he has a great feel for when to throw and his ball placement. Even in the preseason, you saw it. And some of those, field out routes where literally he's putting the ball in spaces that you don't see a lot of quarterbacks that are able to do it. He moves better in the pocket. So there's going to be opportunities. The big picture for the Browns is, can we get a good evaluation on him this year to see exactly what we have?
I think that's the question that we probably know the answer to. They don't really have a number 1 receiver. I tell you, Jerry Jeudy's probably a number 2 receiver. And then their number 3 is a younger player. So their talent outside of the perimeter is not remotely close to what you would want for a starting quarterback.
But he could show something, right?
Totally.
Say, okay, we've
totally.
Maybe struck some gold here. One other thing to watch this week, Myles Garrett missed practice today with an ankle injury, so we'll keep an eye on that. All right, let's get to more news. There's a ton of it with Adam. Adam, what's going on with Jaden Daniels and the Commanders?
Laura, he was a practice in full today, which tells you that he is expected to play on Sunday. He's tracking to be ready, which is good news for the Commanders. He's missed the last 2 games, but it looks like Jaden Daniels now will be back for the Commanders this week after missing the 2 games with a knee sprain. The same might not be true of Terry McLaurin. Terry McLaurin, dealing with injury right now, is not at practice today. The Commanders said he's trending the right way. We also have some breaking news here. I want to just interrupt. As we do Terry McLaurin, we'll come to this, I guess, at the end. Sorry to go off the rails here for you. Terry McLaurin did not practice today. We'll see if he does. The 49ers have ruled out Brock Purdy, Ricky Pearsall, and Juwan Jennings over Thursday night's game. So all 3 out against the Los Angeles Rams.
Wow. Okay,
Shepard's got the phone and he's going frenetic. You know that something's coming around the corner here.
And we're going to flip our script right now and react to that. You just said no Brock Purdy, no Juwan Jennings, no Ricky Pearsall. Dan, this game is tomorrow. What do you think?
I mean, so that they're out their starting quarterback, their top 3 wide receivers, their starting tight end, their starting rush end.
Yeah. Besides that,
who's left?
Not much.
The downside is Pearsall's been awesome. He's
had a huge catch last week, yeah.
Jennings is very, very good player.
Yeah.
Mac Jones had stepped in, won 2 games, going against the Rams defense that defensively is fantastic. Their safeties are playing big-time football. Can McCaffrey get 40 touches and have 250 yards of offense? This is brutal for the 49ers because that division's loaded.
Yeah, to your point, when Mac Jones goes in, you're hoping you get a lift from all the other players to kind of fill in the gaps. But literally, you're operating with all gaps. So for Kyle Shanahan, it's like, well, where do I find the answers? Yes, Christian McCaffrey, but are you going to put that heavy of a dosage on him?
Got to keep him healthy.
He has to be around for this entire season for this to matter for the 49ers.
You never see the game, of course, but I think if you're the 49ers, there's probably a bit of a feeling going into this game that if we can get our guys healthy, and Brock missed 2 games, comes back for 1 game, is now going to miss another. That tells us that whatever Brock is dealing with inside this turf toe issue, he needs a little bit more time. And if you can get Brock right for week 6 when they play Tampa Bay, another gigantic game in the NFC, you have a much better chance to stay competitive in this awesome NFC West than if you bring him back out here on Thursday night where the stack of chips is already relatively short against this really good Rams team. You got to take a long, sort of the bigger picture view right now in this division.
Rams could be 4-1 after this weekend or after tomorrow night, and should be. The Rams should win that game. And Seattle could be 4-1. I think your point is fair. I think your point is the right one. Like, hey, short week.
Yeah.
Don't overdo it. They may have already overdone it a little bit.
If we play them because we want to win and they're not healthy and our season's done.
Wait, we might still lose if he goes out there. Yeah, they could be tough. Yeah, for a team that obviously has dealt with so many injuries. This is deja vu all over again.
So bad. You hate to see it because going into the season, we're like, oh man, their schedule's kind of favorable. Yeah. Either way, it's still plenty of time. The breaking news there from Adam: Brock Purdy, Ricky Pearsall, Juwan Jennings, all ruled out for tomorrow's game against. Go back to the news you have on Lamar Jackson. Go ahead.
Lamar Jackson didn't practice today, Laura, and obviously he was hobbled when he was leaving the locker room on Sunday night after the loss to the Kansas City Chiefs. The fact that he was not out there at practice today, the fact that he was hobbled after the game, tells you that Cooper Rush right now is tracking to play Sunday against the Houston Texans. Now let's keep in mind, Lamar Jackson, the Ravens play the Texans this week. They play the Rams next week, and then they have a bye. So it's possible that Lamar Jackson could wind up missing 2 games and get a month off. And if you're the Los Angeles Rams, you're looking 1 week at a 49ers team without Brock Purdy, Ricky Pearsall, and Juwan Jennings. then getting an extended rest to play a Ravens team that could be without Lamar Jackson before the Ravens go on the bye. So the schedule is shaping up in the Rams' favor right now, but the Ravens have so many injuries that they have to overcome, and right now it looks like, depending on how the rest of the week goes, there's a real possibility that Cooper Rush is going to be the Ravens starting quarterback Sunday.
It's so interesting, the storylines in the league, how it can actually just really play into the hand of one team. And right now, these bad injuries, as Adam's pointing out, are playing into the Rams' hand. All right, let's talk about the Ravens, though. Phil, they are facing the Texans this week. How do they adjust the offense if it is Cooper Rush in there, as Adam's kind of alluding to?
Oh, by the way, your first test is the #1 scoring defense in the NFL by a full 4 points per game. The Texans defense certainly not the problem down there in Houston right now. Cooper Rush will do something that the Ravens have seen a few times since 2019 when Lamar became their full-time starter. Somebody else filling in for Lamar. The big difference is look at the 4 quarterbacks that have previously stepped in for Lamar Jackson. Snoop Huntley, the most experience out of those guys, and then Robert Griffin III, Josh Johnson, and Anthony Brown. I'm not saying any of those guys are close to the level athlete that Lamar is under center. That being said, they all offer a whole lot more rushing upside than Cooper Rush. Cooper Rush, who I guess is inappropriately named Cooper Rush. He's got 61 carries for 20 yards in his career. He's kind of the human victory cigar, taking a lot of knees throughout his career. But if you're playing the Ravens, normally you got Lamar and Derrick Henry. I think the idea from a defense is we got to pick our poison. Are we going to make Lamar beat us as a passer and allow Derrick Henry and bottle up Derrick Henry as a runner, or the other way around? We're going to bottle up Lamar but allow Derrick Henry to gash us for 150 yards. This weekend, if you're D'Amico Ryans and Matt Burke, you're saying to yourself, if we can slow down number 22, we're fine, because if Cooper Rush beats us with his arm, we'll live with that over Derrick Henry going for 225 and 2 touchdowns.
Yeah, so far this season through 4 games, the Ravens have lost their identity and they lost their way as an organization, as a football team. They're not physical anymore on either side. And Marcus said something yesterday about Derrick Henry's got to get more carries, and I was like, stop, let's not overreact. Going back to last week's Kansas City game, on 1st and 2nd down, guess how many carries he had over the course of that game on 1st and 2nd down?
Last week?
Yeah. 6.
Well,
Wow.
Carried the ball 6 times on 1st and 2nd down. So I think there's a reality where the Ravens have gotten a little pass happy on offense. I love the throw. I love putting the ball in the air. I love being aggressive. But if you look at kind of the carries in comparison to last year and where he is this year, on 1st and 2nd down, that's where you should be feeding him the football and allowing him to have an impact. 6 carries on 1st and 2nd down.
Some of that because they were down and they were trying to.
They went down and took the lead the first drive of the game.
You're right. You're right.
Hey, but you were saying Swagoo was right?
His point was valid. After going back to 6 carries, if you look at it, the numbers compared to last year as far as touches and whatnot, it's not even close.
2 names, Derrick Henry, Zach Orr. Like, they got to get it figured out. Otherwise, they're not going to have a chance. They got to play the field position game. And if I'm talking to receivers in the receiver meeting room this week, I'm telling you, hey, you have a lot of time to get open when you have Lamar. That is not the case with Cooper Rush. And actually, he is appropriately named because he gets the ball out of his hands really, really fast.
All right,
and what that means is, as a receiver, what I'm telling you is you have to hurry, but don't rush. This is going to feel different. Cooper is going to try to get the ball out of his hands. And as an offensive coordinator, what am I doing in the pass game that plays into the style that he likes to play? Getting it to Zay Flowers on the edge, maybe some of that screen game, looking for yak opportunities. Again, you're playing the field position game, protecting the football. It has to go back to the old school Ravens, otherwise you won't have a chance. It's not going to be a bar burner.
Yeah, they got to. I think we saw a couple teams recently get a little pass happy. The Chargers, I felt last week, certainly the Ravens fall under that. Yeah.
By the way, we're talking about all these Ravens injuries. If you're keeping track, it's really crazy. These are the guys who did not practice today. Lamar Jackson, Ronnie Stanley, the left tackle, Roquan Smith, who's been dealing with a lot, it seems like, not healthy, Nate Wiggins, Marlon Humphrey, and Patrick Ricard, who we illustrated yesterday. Mina was making the point, and a few of